we'll do the meditation. Please relax the body. Close your eyes. Breathe with the music. Our journey of the Mahavidyas starts from the Smashan. All the Mahavidyas live in the Smashan, in the cremation ground. Just remember the just remember the cremation ground once. Think of all the people whose bodies have ended there. Feel the tremor which moves through the body when we think about this. Now visualize yourself lying on a bed at home. Death is very near. We are waiting for the moment of death. And some symptoms, we'll experience some symptoms before the moment of death. The 5 elements, it is through their patterns that we have enjoyed this life. So we'll say thank you to the 5 elements, and for some time they will take their sanskar back, they will take their memory pattern back. The first is the earth element. The earth element gave us support. And when the earth element goes for some time, you will feel as if all supports have gone. You're sitting on the chair, but somebody has pulled the chair away. You're lying on the bed, but somebody has pulled the bed away. You feel as if you're in mid-air. It goes and comes back. Earth is also the vibration of happiness. And we remember all the times we were so happy in life because of the earth vibration. So the earth gave us support, happiness, and the tanmatra of earth is smell. And we enjoyed all the fragrances throughout our life. So we thank the earth element. The next element, which takes away its pattern, is the water element. And when the water element goes, we feel as if all the juices of our body are drying up. We'll suddenly feel very thirsty and we'll ask for water. This is just temporary. It takes away its sanskar and comes back. All our feelings, all our affections for each other were because of the water element. And we enjoyed these feelings and affections throughout our life. So we thank the water element. We enjoyed so many tastes in our life. So all the different tastes are because of the water element. The third is the fire element. It gave us the power to see. So when the fire element goes, for some time we will be blind. Suddenly we are seeing people around us and we go blind, we can't see anything. And then again it comes back. It is the fire element which gave us comfort. And it is that which burns impurities for us. We are able to move on the spiritual journey because of the fire element. And the next element to go is the wind element, the air element. It is the element of movement, and we moved all over the earth, enjoyed the moving to so many places. It gave us the pattern of feeling. We are able to touch and feel and sense because of the air element. The skin senses, the skin touches. We hug someone. And then last is the element of ether, the Akash Tattva. It gives us freedom to go wherever we want. And it gives us the power of hearing. And for some time, lying on the bed, we'll become deaf. We won't be able to hear. And again, the hearing capacity will come back. And we thank the five elements. It is through them that we enjoyed life. And as the moment of death comes near, we will feel a deep pull throughout our body, as if all the energies are being pulled together and being concentrated at the bottom of the backbone. That is, all the energies have come into a dot in a small point at the backbone, as if the bow is being pulled for the soul to go out as the arrow. In the last 3 minutes before death, our life will rewind, and from an old person we'll become a young child again, and we'll go through the major stages of our life. And if we want to consciously change something at some turning point in life, we made the wrong decision, it is better to change it now. Remember it and change it. And the last thing, as the moment of death comes, is that we forget everything. We see the light, and because of light, we forget everything. And the last thing we forget is our own name. We can't remember our own name. And that is the moment when the soul moves up through the top of the head and leaves the body. The body falls lifeless. And from outside, we are looking at our body, lifeless on the bed. 4 to 6 people pick up the body and take it to the cremation ground. And the fire burns away the body, and the ashes remain. See the ashes, and a gust of wind comes and scatters all the ashes. Nothing remains, just emptiness. And try to remain with that emptiness for 1 minute, breathing with the music. Slowly come back. Slowly open your eyes.
The thought crossed my mind. So when we are doing this meditation,
Right.
And you are saying that, earth element, so what is it actually a process of extraction, like, the memories pertaining to a particular element, right? There is a huge collection of memories, various memories, or we can say sanskar.
Right.
So all the sanskars are trying to extract and convert it into an essence form or a
Right.
seed form,
Right.
right?
Right.
So that process is going on. That is why it comes on and off, right? That is how it is happening.
Right.
So it's just converting into an essence.
It is
or a
converting
seed-
into an essence.
or seed form, right?
Seed form,
So when that occurs,
You'll have to increase the volume a little.
so all the memories of all the
Hello,
the
yeah.
five elements,
Right.
they will be collected at the Muladhar, or they will stay separately at each center, and then from Muladhar it will merge into Swadhisthana, and Swadhisthana merges into this and this. Likewise, it will go up, or
See, the memories of the earth element will be in Muladhara.
right, yeah. But when it's trying to leave, at that time it will move upwards and move into, merge into Swadhisthana, and then it will again merge into Manipur. Will it go like that?
All the memories will take the form of essence,
Right.
right? And together with essence, the soul will leave the body.
Yeah. Right.
So the essence is of all the five chakras. The essence of all the five chakras.
No, but I mean to say, like, it extracted and made an essence, right?
Essence,
Now
yeah.
again, all the five chakras, they will be all merged together, and that will again become a single seed.
The essence will merge together.
Yeah, that's
The
right.
chakras will not
No,
merge.
not chakra.
The essence will merge.
merge, right?
Merge together.
And that will make a final seed.
That will make a final, like a pen drive.
Right.
Right, like pen drive.
So તમે એવું પૂછ્યું કે આ જે come and go જે થાય છે.
Yeah, that is a process of extraction. I think that's what I felt. I just wanted to clarify.
Okay.
Clarify my doubt.
And he said yes.
Okay, before we start, I want to just take the practice of the vagus nerve. Then we'll go into in Kali Mata. So, this is a little important practice for us. And the vagus nerve is the 10th cranial nerve, right? And it comes out of the brain stem, and it touches all the organs of the body till it comes down. It doesn't go through the backbone. The cranial nerves do not go through the backbone. And it has a profound effect on many functions, right from immunity to digestion to heart rate to blood pressure. It is now, science is laying a lot of emphasis on the connection between our intestines and the brain. They call it the brain-gut connection, right? And they say that the bacteria in the intestine, they affect the functioning of the brain. So the messages which go from the digestive system, from the intestines to the gut to the brain is through the through the vagus nerve. So we want to talk a little bit about the vagus nerve. Now, all the cranial nerves are in pairs, and this is the only cranial nerve which goes right down to below the backbone, but not through the backbone. It touches every organ on the way, right from the pancreas to the liver. So this is one nerve which touches all the organs of the body. It has both parasympathetic and sympathetic fibers. So, as a sympathetic, it is that nerve which is connected he's going to get tissue, is that nerve which is connected with the fight or flight mechanism. So in situations of danger, it is the so in situations of danger, it becomes active, and either we fight or we run away. And if you see in such situations of danger, we suddenly come to one-pointed attention. So the vagus nerve is connected with bringing about the state of one-pointed attention. Now, after the situation of fear has gone away, then the secretions which led to that fight or flight, mainly adrenaline, which comes from the adrenal glands, it has to be what you call neutralized. So again, it is the parasympathetic fibers of the vagus nerve which neutralize them. So we have it brings about a right use of the vagus nerve can bring about a state of deep relaxation. So we see something over here which in a certain way brings about heightened activity, one-pointed attention, a high state of alertness, and in another it brings about deep relaxation, right? And when we understand this, we can understand that for our journey, this vagus nerve is very important. Now, as we said, all the cranial nerves are in pairs. So this comes down the system. So there is a left vagus nerve and a right. The right is called the ventral vagus nerve. The left is called as the dorsal vagus nerve. In a way, because Mr. Tavaria used to say that every nerve has a subtle counterpart, which in yoga is called as a nadi. So it comes from the root nad, to flow, right? So we could surmise that the vagus nerve, the pair, the right and left vagus nerve, right being the ventral and the dorsal, the one at the back, they are Pingla and Ida nadis. We could also surmise that. So it goes through the throat, the chest, around the heart, through the intestines, and ending on the pelvic floor, that is the perineum. It ends at the perineum. Now, I think yesterday or day before we talked that the lines of force in the universe are elastic. That is, if one force wants to go one way, there is always a counter force which is pulling in the other direction. Similarly, the lines of force which go in the counter direction in our body start from the perineum. That is, the perineum is the trampoline of the body. So supposing energy or Shakti, she wants to rise, then she can only rise by pushing down on the perineum and coming up. There is no direct movement up. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? And that is why, because the vagus nerve ends in the perineum, it becomes very important. Now, if just this understanding, what else would we understand from this? What else could we understand from this about the exercises which we are doing? The gold nugget becomes very, very important because it protects the perineum. It protects the perineum. And as we age, especially more pronounced in ladies than in men, the perineum gets weaker and weaker. And in some, it becomes so weak that it loses its elasticity and it sags also, it gets sort of disintended, right? So for any person walking on the spiritual path, it's very, very important that they keep the perineum healthy, right? And because all the lines of force which go up, they come out of the perineum, right? So now we say that the chakras are aligned to the Sushumna Nadi, right? Which also run down, and on the left and right we have the two, Ida and Pingla. And the chakras have two, connections. On one side they are connected with the endocrine glands in the physical body, and on the other side they are connected with the higher part, that is the pranic body on the other side. So the chakras are connected in two ways. And if we count the vagus nerve as Ida and Pingla, then we understand its importance, not only on our physical health, but to help us on our journey. Ida means comfort, and it is a cooling nadi. It is also called the moon, Chandra nadi. Pingla means orange, brownish orange. So we can say it is these two nadis which go round the backbone. They crisscross around the backbone. And we have seen in our old lectures that prana moves through these two nadis. And prana as electricity, right? We can say as it crisscrosses, the electromagnetic field changes, because when the electricity is flowing in one direction, the field is at right angles to that, and when it flows in the other direction, the field goes opposite. And this crisscrossing is what makes the chakras rotate all the time, right? Because the field is changing every time. So if we can stimulate the vagus nerve in one way, we can bring one-pointed attention, what in yoga is called as ekagrata. And if we can stimulate it in another way, we can bring about deep relaxation. And try to understand that samadhi is both. It is one-pointed attention also, and it is deep relaxation also, right? Now, in this we can think of a third combination, where we are balanced between one-pointed attention and deep relaxation. And this would be the neutralizing force between the two parts of the vagus nerve. So we can be relaxed and alert at the same time, right? So you don't have to be tense and alert, you're relaxed and you're alert at the same time. Now, science talks about something called vagal tone. That is, the tone, supposing you have an elastic band, and the more powerful is the elasticity of that band, we say it has a higher tone. Can you get? But once it starts losing its elasticity, we say it's lost its tone, right? Similarly, as we grow old, the vagus nerve loses its tone. And we want to increase the vagal tone. For our journey, we want to increase the vagal tone. And if we can increase the vagal tone, not only does it bring back the elasticity in the vagus nerve, but it affects all the organs which this nerve is connected to, right? Now there are two ways to increase vagal tone. One is through the use of sound, which we call as mantra, and one is through the use of breathing. So when we exhale more for longer and inhale a little, we are increasing the vagal tone. Now, another thing which we can see is that in most people, the fight or flight mechanism is working properly. But, huh?
એમાં હજી કંઈ છે નહીં
એમાં હતું કંઈ
એટલે કાઢી લે.
But the relaxing mechanism stops working after a certain time, right? A simple example, if my daughter has gone out, right, then I'm worried because it's become late at night or something. And so this is the sympathetic part of the vagus nerve working, right? It brings me to a state of worry. I'm alert. Has the bell rung? Has she come back, etc., right? Or I may be waiting for the taxi or the car to come or something. Now, once she comes home, then the parasympathetic part must relax this thing. But it doesn't work there. Can you see? In most people, the worrying goes on inside. And they'll say, she came at 11 o'clock, but I could not sleep the whole night because I was in that state of worry. So, the other part of the vagus nerve is not working. And that is a very, what do you call, strong, good example, we can say, that the vagal tone has gone down. The vagal tone has gone down, right? And in today's world, because the nerves are overstretched, especially with people working with computers and things like that, because the nerves are overstretched, the nerves don't come back to their state of relaxation, right? So if I worked on a computer the whole day, the nerves may not come back to a state of relaxation. And today we even lose the vagal tone faster than in the old days, right? So we want to increase the ventral vagus nerve, the right vagus nerve, which is the parasympathetic side, right? To increase the, what do you call, relaxation response.
when we do the second part of the gold nugget, that is when it tries to increase the velocity, right?
So now, if we can, what you call, breathe out, and then even pause before taking the next breath, then in that pause also we are helping the vagal tone to increase in that pause. A very small, sharp inhalation, right? And then again we can start the process. So I have just made a small exercise. In this we breathe in 3, and when we breathe out we do the sound of the Swadhisthana chakra, right? And we breathe out for 10, and then we pause with the breath out for 5, right? So it will go something like this: 2, 3, 10, and then pause for 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And so in this we have combined both the long exhalation, the pause, with the mantra of the Swadhisthana chakra. And because the vagus nerve has both sensory and motor nerves, it is the one nerve which has both sensory and motor nerves. And so we are increasing this part of that with what you call the sensory part, because the Swadhisthana chakra is connected with the sensual level of life, right? To enjoy life at a sensual level through the 5 senses, the enjoyment of life through the 5 senses. So when we are what you call doing the mantra of the Swadhisthana chakra, which is actually Vam, but we pronounce it as Vu, right? So we pronounce it as Vu, and we have to do it as if we are blowing out a candle. So it'll go 1, 2, 3. 10, right? And then hold for 5, right? And then we can repeat it, right? All the phones are used?
You want?
They have found, especially people with digestive problems, and a lot of people in today's world suffer from what is called IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. And they have found that the one remedy for that is increasing the vagal tone, right? So it becomes very powerful in that sense, right? But it affects all the organs. So we'll just see if we can do it together, all of us. Recording chalu? So we just go with this: 1, 2, 3 in, 10 out, and 5 hold, right? 2, 3. In. again in. Okay. So, together with the gold nugget, we can practice this, and as your practice increases, you can increase the time of breathing out, and you can also increase the time of 5 seconds hold as we are practicing. Breathing in will remain at 3 seconds, right? So I just wanted to share this with you, this practice, before we went into any questions on this. Yeah.
So this vagus, when it's passing through,
Yeah.
it passes through the diaphragm also.
Also, yes.
Yeah, so the only way to control this is there is no direct control over the vagus. But if you control the diaphragm, you are indirectly controlling the vagus also.
Yeah.
So the movement of the diaphragm, when we are controlling,
It affects the vagus.
It affects the vagus also.
Right. So if you can breathe with your chest and stomach both, then you're controlling the diaphragm. And so that happens in 3-step rhythmic breathing. Right, because you're using both the stomach and chest. In animals, they use only the chest. A young child uses only the stomach. But here we are trying to use both together.
So that is just in third exercise.
No, in normal 3-step rhythmic breathing.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
In normal
We have to
3-step
do
rhythmic
both.
breathing.
Yeah, yeah.
To a certain extent, we are affecting the vagus. But this mantra of the Swadhisthana chakra is very powerful mantra. And so if we can use that mantra, you'll become young again to use the mantra. Right?
So when the benefits of gold nuggets are explained in that book, it says that, it has connection, perineum has a connection with the diaphragm, and then it has connection with the bindu. So it is connected like this, right?
If you go into the first book of Mr. Tavaria's, the inner discipline, right? And last chapters, there's a lot of discussion on the vagus nerve. There's a lot of discussion on the vagus nerve, right? So that is it.
How many rounds we have? How many rounds we have to do?
You can start with 5 minutes, and then, what is comfortable with you?
Up to 30 minutes.
Huh?
Up to 30 minutes.
Yeah,
maximum.
In the
And,
morning, right?
Huh?
In the morning, we have to do that.
Morning, any time, when you get time in the day also, you can do it. If I'm watching a serial, sometimes I do it in the advertisements. Right, so you can do it.
So when during gold nugget, when you are trying to hold this upper part, tight, and not pulling in, so that must be having some effect there, right? Tavaria says this must be out, only the lower abdomen goes in. So when you are holding it this one tight, it must
Because you pull the lower in, the diaphragm becomes tight like this. Diaphragm can't move. That affects. And the perineum goes up automatically. So yesterday we did the black color, right? Now, the next is the symbology of our hair, because it is not combed hair, and it's what in English we call as disheveled hair. That is, I don't know, when we wake up in the morning, our hair is all disheveled, right? Now, the word in Sanskrit is kesha, and Kesha comes from the same root as Klesh. Klesh. And in the Yoga Sutra we have seen that, there are 5 kleshas, right? Avidya being the top one. And the other 4, they play in avidya. So avidya is the basic condition of the kleshas. And Patanjali says avidya kshetram. Avidya is the field, right? So, and in that kshetra, the other 4, they play as prasupta tanu vichinna udar in these 4 ways, right? So, avidya means a low state of awareness, a low state of awareness. Or in Gurdjieff's language, we can say is my attention is identified somewhere, right? So, in the state of identification is the state of avidya. That is, my attention has been hypnotized. Now, the other 4, that is asmita, rag, dvesh, and abhinivesh, they are the 4 seeds. They are the 4 seeds of karma. Karma has only 4 seeds. Purvi, ચાલશે બેસી જાઓ. નહીં જોઈએ. So karma has only 4 seeds, right? But for the seeds to sow the seed of karma, you need a planting ground. You need the kshetra, the soil, and that soil is avidya. So if there is no state of avidya, there is no karma also. But the minute there is a state of avidya, low awareness, or what we call it, Gurdjieff's, as identification. Once I'm identified, and Patanjali calls this as vritti sarupyam, this identification, this state of identification. So in that state of identification, then karma starts being created. And these are the 4 seeds of karma. So these are called the kleshas, right? And so there is some relationship between the hair and the inner kleshas. Now, hair protects the top of the head. It's a kind of insulation. And we have 5 lower chakras, right? But we have 3 and many small minor chakras in the higher part, right? And especially the connection from here to the bindu, there are 3-4 small chakras on the way, right? And all these are protected by the hair on the head, right? So when there is a spike of energy, sometimes, and especially like we said, of the vagus nerve, when there's a sudden spike of energy, when we are in a state of fear or something, then that spike is protected by the hair on the head. Now the bones in the forehead over here, they are porous bones. So they, through the hair, they absorb solar energy, right? And they transmit that solar energy to the pineal gland over here. Now, of course, the pineal gland today, in today's world, as we grow a little old, it starts shrinking and gets atrophied, right? So, and it has a direct effect on brain activity, on sleep, on sex hormones. So it is the hair which channels the sun's energy into this bones over here, and these bones being porous, they absorb the sun's energy, and the brain uses that energy. So it is that part of the brain which is very active in meditation, visualization. So here we see her hair is totally free. Right? Now during the day the hair absorbs solar energy, but in the night it absorbs lunar energy. Right? And that is why if you see in a lot of old Hindi movies and plays and things, you will see that the woman, before they go to sleep, they comb their hair as they go to sleep, right? And this combing of hair is to activate the lunar energy, which the hair absorbs at night. And see, anna, that is food, comes from the solar energy, the sun. But aushadhi, that is healing process, that comes from the moon, from the Chandra at night. It is the effect of the moon on the water which brings aushadhi through the plants. So as the full moon comes, the water rises in the plant and it brings the power of healing. So I may eat a potato or I may eat a brinjal or something. And the brinjal as food comes from the sun, right? But supposing science says that by eating a potato you get rid of this calcium deficiency or something, which I don't, right? So then that healing part of the potato has come from the, what do you call, the moon. Huh? So that is this hair absorbs what do you call so the moon energy, lunar energy at night. Not only that, but if you comb your hair before going to sleep, it brings the electromagnetic field of the brain and all into a proper alignment. Otherwise, everything has gone haywire because of the way we live our lives, right? So it's very important to comb the hair before. Now, after a certain age, the hair starts becoming gray, right? And what do you call that gray hair? It supplements, because after a certain age you need more aushadhi. The aushadhi part more, you need less, right? When you're growing up at 16, 17, 20 years, you need to eat a proper meal. But at 60 years, 67, I don't need to want to have a heavy meal. But I need more healing process. So as the hair becomes gray, its power to, it sort of complements. Power to absorb lunar energy increases. And so the healing power of hair increases as it turns gray. Right? So it increases the vitamins and the energy flow to compensate for aging. Right? Now hair is of two kinds. Straight hair and curly hair. Now, straight hair, it aligns the energy of the body to a certain aim in life. So supposing I have an aim, and my aim is to rise in consciousness, right? So then it's very important to comb the hair straight, right? And of course, Mr. Tavaria used to say that you must always have a partition and it must be absolutely straight. Only then you have some aim in life, right? And curly hair, it aligns us with the energies of nature. Now, nature's energies are spiral, right? All the energies in nature, they don't move in a straight line, they move in a certain spiral. And it is curly hair which allows you to align yourself with nature, be more natural, right? And it is the same energy, the spiraling energy of nature, which allows the earth to rotate around the sun. The sun rotates around something, the whole galaxy may be rotating around something else. It is this movement of prana, which we call, is symbolized by curly hair. So her hair is all disheveled, some of her hair is straight, some of her hair is curly, right? So she has both aim in life, but she's aligned with nature at the same time. She has 4 arms. We talked about these 4 arms. And one arm symbolizes the power of creation. Brahma. The second, the power of preservation, Vishnu. The third is destruction, dissolution, Shiva. And the fourth is something above this, which gives us the process of reaching a state where we are above this threefold process of the universe of creation, preservation, and destruction. Or we rise above the 3 forces. And she's, in that hand, she is blessing us that you make the effort and you come to a state, which in yoga is called gunatit avastha. We have moved above the 3 forces, right? So, stop. She has a long red tongue and red eyes, and the tongue is licking blood from the severed head, from the head which she has cut off. Right? Now, red is the color of color of anger, the color of intensity in life, the color of passion in life. Right? Ladies use red lipstick, bring about passion in life. Right? Red color increases the speed of breathing. It increases our confidence, right? It is provoking in nature. Now, there are different interpretations of her tongue coming out. One is that she's licking the blood from the head, and we'll see in her battle with Rakta Bij, right? She has to lick the blood, otherwise one drop of Rakta Bij, blood falls on the ground, a new Rakta Bij is created, the demon Rakta Bij, right? So, one interpretation is that Shiva was sleeping and she was dancing in a frenzy, and she put her foot on Shiva and she felt ashamed, and that is why the tongue has come out. And another interpretation is that because Shiva is in the position of having sexual consummation with her, having sex, that tongue has come out in ecstasy and this thing, happiness, right? She has 3 red eyes representing sun, moon, and fire. So there are 3 types of light. Sun is the created light, moon is the reflected light, and fire is the light which we create through our own conscious effort, right? So fire is Kundalini Shakti, right? So that is why we say that when Kundalini rises, the 3rd eye is symbolic, that you have created the fire of Kundalini, the fire of tapa in life. It has to be created, right? Not only that, but the 3 eyes are symbolic that for her, the past, the present, the future are just one continuum. She's looking at it all together, the past, the present, and the future. Right? Like Mr. Tavaria used to say, I've swallowed a colored TV, right? And when I see a person, I see 200 lives before and 200 lives later, right? I don't just see the person. So something like that. She's surrounded by snakes. She's sitting on snakes, and Ananta, the snake of eternity, is protecting her, right? Now, snakes is a very complex symbology because snake is the basic symbol of time, and she being Kali, the energy of time, right? And because she's sitting on the snakes and the snake is protecting her, she is time, but she is also the supremacy above time also. Right? But snake is also representative of the original primordial force which brings man, to the very basic force in man's life. So if you count as man as in a caveman maybe 1 million years ago or something, then his desire to hunt for food, to look for shelter for himself, that inner desire to survive, the primordial desire in life, is represented by a snake. Snake also represents the mystery of living, and wherever in any culture of the world, whether it is from the fairy tales to spirituality, wherever you see, wherever there is a treasure, it is always protected by a snake. So a snake and treasure go together, right? Treasure go together. I'm just giving one small example over here, just to explain this. Right? My father died when I was very young. I mean, I must have been about 18, 19 years old. And 3-4 months before he died, I was sleeping at one spot in the Madhupur where there is a temple just now. And I was all alone at night. It was a totally desolate area, just on top of a hill, and I was sleeping there. And I had a dream that, a snake came in my dream, a white snake, and snake bit me, and I was drowning in the river. And in that drowning, I got upset in my dream, and I opened my eyes. And in the middle of the night, it must have been 2 or 3 o'clock in the night, and I opened my eyes, and Ramdulare Bapu was there. And he had come from his room, he had climbed up right there, and he was there. And exact at the same time when I opened my eyes. So, and he just told me one thing, that pack up from here and come and sleep in my room. So I went to sleep. Of course, he was on the bed, and I went to sleep on the floor. So then in the morning, he's asking me, what dream came to you? So I said, this dream came to me. He says, in 3-4 months you're going to get a lot of money, but you don't have the wisdom or the, capacity to hold on money. You'll waste all of it. Right? And in, of course, 3-4 months' time, my father died, and in his will, I must have got a lot of money. And of course, I could not hold on to it also. But what I'm trying to say is that the snake, not just, it's symbolic. This representation of treasure does not mean that there has to be a, what do you call, somebody has dug a treasure and there's a treasure over there, but it has a deep meaning in this thing. Right? Now, I think one day whenever we get a chance, not this year, I think, we will talk about the 7 regions below the earth. Like we say, Bhu Bhuva Swaha, Mahajanatapa, Satyam. But there are 7 regions below, which we call as Sutal, Vital, Patal, right? They have different names, and each one has a deep significance with our unconscious minds. To understand how the rishis understood the unconscious mind and how they symbolized it in these 7 tals which are below the earth.
So they are physically there?
Not physically, but they are psychologically there. And very important, very important. Very interesting also. And who inhabits those tals? Who are the, what do you call, people who live over there, according to the Shastras? The Nagas, the snakes. We say that Arjun was having a bath and then Ulupi pulled him down into the, what do you call, and when she took it, he was in the Naga world over there, Naga world, right? So, when you want to today, science has not really been able to unravel the whole unconscious mind. Of course, Jung did a lot of work on it, but just the surface. But when you look at the rishis, they have talked of 7 tals, as if in those days they could just see it and they've opened it out at that time.
No, but when you say that below the earth there are 7 layers, just like Bhu Bhuva Swaha Janatapa, right? So those 7 layers are not there below the earth, they are there.
They're not. I don't think they are there physically.
Okay.
I don't think they are there physically. But they, as a physical symbol, they represent something.
Okay.
They represent something. So the inhabitants of those areas below the earth are the snakes, the nagas, right? And they also symbolize transformation, because they are the one animal which can take out their skin and have a new skin, right? So they symbolize the transformation, that if we can penetrate into our unconscious mind and transform that, because there's a lot of animalism in the unconscious mind, right? Deep connections. And so it is like shedding off the old skin and getting a new skin. So she's sitting on all the snakes, means she's not just the mistress of Bhu Bhuva, she's also the mistress of the, what do you call, lower worlds also. In a lot of African tribes, South American tribes, even in America, in the Indian tribes, what do you call, they had something called the shamanism. And I have also seen, what do you call, when I was very young, where they play those big drums and they dance, and there's a fire in a certain way and all, and you are thrown into a trance, and you go into these underworlds, just as Arjun went, right? You go into these underworlds, and there you are able to change some deeply embedded sanskars. Like we say, this person has Pitru dosh in his kundli. That is a sanskar which is coming from one of these underworlds. Okay? So this whole, what we call shamanism comes from the science of going into those underworlds. Right? She lives in the cremation ground, in the smashan. Smashan, we drop our body, right? So the body is just a vehicle for us to move somewhere, to move to some higher, what do you call, place of consciousness, right? And because she's personified in the fire which burns the body, right? So it shows that she is the true form of time. She has created also and she destroys also. Now, there is a symbology in the funeral pyre. There's a symbology, right? So the pyre, they say, is the yoni of Kali, right? Kali. And the ashes are the sperm of Shiva. And the burning of the body has a sexual connotation, that of the sperm of Shiva as ashes and the pyre as the, what you call, yoni of Kali. The pyre signifies the ending of everything, the ending of time, the ending of everything. So Shiva lives there, his residence is in the Smashan. Shma means a shava or corpse, and Shanya means to lie down, where the corpse lies down. Ash is that part of our body which cannot undergo any more change. Once you have burned the body and it is reduced to ashes, it cannot undergo any more change, and so it signifies the Atma, because the Atma is the unchanging part of ourselves, right? So it is that Bhasma, it signifies the Atma at a physical level. Okay, where have we come time-wise? We still have time. Now the story of Kali, how she came into this thing. There's a battle between the gods and two demons called Chanda and Munda. There's a battle. And the gods ask Parvati as Durga to come and help them in the battle, because they couldn't do anything. Now, we have to understand that the gods were fighting with Chanda and Munda, and they could not do anything. Neither side was winning. So they had to go to Durga and ask her to come to help them. So it was a situation of deadlock. What does it say about any deadlock in our life? Any deadlock in our life? That to come out of a situation of a deadlock, whether you cannot do it with male energy, you need female energy to come out of a situation of a deadlock. And this is very important for our normal life. We must remember this, that whenever we are in a situation where we feel we cannot do anything, right? Then we do not bring about, invoke the aggressive side of our nature. We have to invoke the receptive side of our nature, right? To work in that. So, these two demons, they want to attack Durga, and she looks at them and then she, what you call, frowns in her forehead. And from that frowning in her forehead, Kali comes out. Kali comes out. And she roars loudly, she leaps into the battle, and she tears both the demons apart with her hands. And then she crushes them with her jaws. And before that, she kills them with her sword, right? And because she has killed them, then Durga gives her the name of Chamunda, right? She gives her the name that she is a Chamunda. Now, we have a saying in English, if somebody has some money in the bank or something, and you say, how did you get this money? How did you earn this money? So he'll say, I earned this money through the sweat of my brow. Okay, this, right? So we can see that the creation of Kali from the brow of Durga, it means that there was a tremendous inner effort which went into that creation of Kali. Later, the battle goes on because after Chanda and Munda died, then there's another demon called Rakta Bij, and he has a fierce band of female attendants who are very good fighters, right? And there's a very fierce battle, but as we know, his blood would fall on the ground and a new Rakta Bij would come. So then Kali again comes, and before the blood can fall on the ground, she with her long tongue licks the blood and this thing. And Rakta Bij is our mind, one thought after the other. One worry leads to another worry, and one thought leads to another thought. And we have to, lick the blood before it falls to the ground, right? So if you have hurt me, I have to lick the blood before it falls to the ground. Otherwise, from that the blood, another thought will come that I want to do this to you, I want to do that to you. Okay? Now, after she killed Kali, Rakta Bij, she suddenly went into a tremendous state where she started dancing. And she started dancing like mad. And in that dancing, now the battle was already won, there was no need to kill anyone. She started killing people left, right and center, and the gods did not know how to stop her. And so they went to Shiva, and Shiva lay down as if he was lifeless, and then one says that because her foot touched Shiva, she suddenly stopped. The other says that because Shiva was in sexual union with her, whatever the reason, it is that which calmed her down, brought her this thing. Now we must understand here in this that in the end, there is one side to us which is a very animal side, right? And all of us have experienced that when that animal side goes out of control, nothing can stop that animal side. I mean, I don't know if you observe sometimes people in anger, but in that anger which is totally out of control. And I have observed, that is why I'm, sharing with. I mean, people, they come, they tell you something, then they go away, and we think everything is over, and suddenly they come back and they tell you something, then we feel again everything is over, again they go and they come back, and it doesn't stop, they keep on. So that dance of anger, it cannot stop. But where consciousness comes in, and consciousness does not have to do anything, it can be a dead body, Nishkriya Shiva, absolutely inert Shiva. But in the presence of consciousness, the whole animal nature, it calms down, right? It bows down to consciousness, right? Now, in yoga, this in the Yoga Sutra, there is a state which Patanjali talks about called Prakruti Lay. That is a certain state where nature which was created out of consciousness, Shakti which was created out of Shiva, it momentarily merges back. So from creation there is a state of decreation, you understand, right? And so that is the universe. In that moment, there is no universe. It all goes back into its evolutes. Right? Now, in sexual union, in that moment of what you call orgasm, what they call, that is a momentary Prakriti lay, as if the as if the whole universe has decreated and gone back into its origin. Of course, we are not conscious in that moment. The whole effort of tantric sex is to come to that moment and be conscious in that moment. Then the journey is over, because that is the moment where everything goes back into its original source. So one interpretation is that she touches Shiva. The other is that they are in sexual union, and because it is reverse sexual union, there is a momentary decreation of the universe. Everything has gone back into its original point. There is just the bindu, totally Prakriti lay in that point. And in that, she enters into a state of total bliss, or what we call, and in that her whole animal nature calms down. Now, how do we observe Kali in our normal lives? So we must first of all understand time as past, present and future, but time as time and eternity. Now, of course, there's a third dimension of time called absolute, but we won't go into that. She is the veil on our consciousness. In life, we only see effects, and we must be very, very, what you call, sure of this, that with our five senses, we only see the effects of things, right? And when we only see the effects, from the effects our mind tries to, what you call, come to the cause, right? So, I see in my life I may be suffering, right? Now, say I'm suffering, I say I'm suffering because I don't have enough money. So I say that is the cause that I'm suffering. But it may not be the cause, because this is the cause which see, the effect is I don't have enough money just now. But from that, the cause which I have come to may not be the real cause, right? And it may happen that tomorrow I get money and I bring more suffering in my life instead of reducing mine. We can see this. We can see this. And you know that very famous, this, where in last 10-15 years, the rich family in India where the two brothers separated, and one brother got 25,000 crore rupees cash in the bank, and he just, in 10 years, he just wiped it all out. So whether money brought, what do you call, lessen the suffering, or money brought more suffering, we see this in front of us, right? So the cause may lie somewhere totally different, but I don't have the eyes to see the cause. Why don't I? Because the parda is there, that veil is there, which Kali is, it is in another dimension of time, and I cannot penetrate into that other dimension of time. So then I blame others. I'll say, okay, you didn't help me, that is why my life is miserable. I'll blame somebody else for it, right? Or I'll blame some situation, and in the end, otherwise I'll blame my karma. So, and we don't say it's because I cannot see the cause. So all of us have what is called a time body. And that time body is where all our sanskars are. All our sanskars are lying. Sanskar does not mean the memory of events. Sanskar means the memory of experience. Can you understand? Now, we must understand this properly, that I meet her on the road, right? And I say, hello, how are you? But inside I may be feeling, okay, she has disturbed my life and I don't like her, right? So outside I am showing the sanskar of rag. She is my friend. But inside I am giving myself the sanskar of dvesh. That the inner, what is being recorded inside is what I am giving myself. Can you understand what I am trying to say? Or I may have the feeling of taking of revenge. Now, I'll say I have to set you right because I have to take revenge upon you, right? But every time I think of taking of revenge, I am living that revenge. I am giving myself the sanskar of revenge. Can you understand? Am I coming across in this? And it is that which goes into my time body. I met her on the road and said, hello, how are you? Does not go in the time body. That is an event. That is an event. That memory goes in a totally different place. Can you understand what I'm trying? So, each moment, what sanskar am I giving myself? Right? So, it's simple. I'm watching a serial and the phone rings and immediately a sanskar of irritation comes. Can you see? So I'm living that irritation for that momentary time, and that sanskar of irritation gets recorded in my time body, right? And the phone may be a friend, he was asking for a loan and I generously help him in the loan, but by then that has already happened. The irritation has been recorded. So we all have a time body, right? And that time body does not die with death. It does not die with death. And the essence adds on to essence in that time body, right? And so Kali represents that time body within us. We move in the fourth dimension of time, but we want to penetrate into a higher dimension of time. So tomorrow we'll talk a little bit about time, how to penetrate into a higher dimension of time, right? Okay, I'll stop over here. Any questions, anyone? Right?
So Rajan bhai, Kali and Durga, બંને same, right? કાલી અને કારણ કે કલકત્તામાં તો કાલી અને દુર્ગા બંને સેમ જ કહેવાય, right?
હા, એટલે કાલી has come out of Durga. She is the essence of Durga.
અચ્છા, essence of Durga.
Durg means a fort.
Fort.
Right? So, to be able to protect yourself from other people's negativity. Supposing a new energy has risen in me, fresh energy, but other people's negativity can ruin it for some time. So at that time I have to build a fort, inner fort, and protect that energy from the demons outside. So that is the time where many of the sadhus and all, they go into the jungle and all, where they don't, for some time they don't want to meet people, otherwise that energy can be, and once they command that energy, then nobody can do anything. But till then they have to look after that.
And Chamunda is another name for it.
Chamunda. Stop here. Right? Okay. Thank you.